Maria?
Coach, I know this Indiana game, y'all were talking about it before the cancellation at Texas. So, I mean, how did it come about and how fortuitous did that end up being that you could get a game on Thursday?
Well, at the beginning of the season, when we put our schedule out publicly, we knew we were still one game short of a full schedule. So we knew that we could add a game during the season. This was the week we wanted to try to add it. We had a game there that Stanford was not able to come and play. So, we wanted a really good opponent there, and just very fortunate that Indiana had an opening at the same time. We were able to get with them, communicate that, and make this happen.
Howard?
Thanks for doing this, Kelly. I appreciate your time. Curious, in a situation like this, how do you go about scouting when it's such a quick turnaround, late addition? Like, what's that process been like for you?
Well, my staff does a great job. I mean, we can turn around a scout pretty quickly, and we understand you got to be flexible. You may be adding a game quickly. We've in talks of trying to get this Indiana game, we had trying to figure out who were options for us. So we had video ready to go for a couple different opponents just in case this game didn't fall through. But again, we were able to get this on our end quick enough that we could get a scout turned around.
And just to that end, in general, obviously this is what's happening throughout the country. Who do you think benefits from that? Offensive end, defensive end? Like, what do you think changes in general when those types of things are affecting the way you're able to prepare?
Well, I don't really know if I could pick the offensive end or defensive end. I think the teams that are veteran, mature, and stable, I think those are the teams that benefit from this year. I think they're able to play through adversity better. They're able to pivot short notice. They're able to change their focus in a short period of time, not get frustrated, and move forward.
Thank you.
Maria?
Coach, everyone knew, of course, that COVID-19 was going to affect schedules, but there's having a game canceled, and then there's having a game canceled 90 minutes before tip-off. How is the team? I mean, that had to be a letdown for the staff and the team, but how have you guys bounced back? I mean, after flying all the way out there and then just turning around and having to come home.
I tell you what, Maria, it was actually a pretty big blow, to be honest with you. Players are getting taped, coaching staff, we're all getting ready to, I think we were less than an hour from departing to the gym when we found out. That was tough. We're sitting on go. I mean, we're getting ready. You build up, you do everything leading up to game time. So you're getting ready to peak for game time, and then that doesn't happen. That's a big blow. Now on the flip side, we're all healthy. We had a safe trip out there. We had a safe trip back. So, at times like these, it's easy to really dial in and look at that one little thing. But I think it's important that we look big picture and realize that we're okay. And just part of what we got to do. And, coming home, it was a little somber coming home. The trip was a little quiet. And, next day at practice, we just had to, or the next practice we had to get them geared back up, all right, hey, this is part of it. That's in the past. We're moving forward, and we have to attack what's in front of us. So I think it's important that we try to remember the big picture in these moments.
Questions about Tennessee's upcoming games this week against Indiana and Jackson State, please. Maria?
Coach, I'll ask kind of a double question. Number one, the challenge of Indiana. That's an outstanding team, and what you guys are facing there in Bloomington. And then if we can jump ahead to Jackson State, I was looking at their roster. they've got 9 seniors. That's a veteran team, and they seem to have joined the SEC. They play Mississippi State. They're going to play Tennessee. They're going to play Ole Miss. Just kind of break down both of these upcoming opponents.
Well, we'll start with Indiana. They are really good. I mean, just an excellent basketball team, and they don't do anything tricky. There's no gimmick to it. They line up, guard you. They line up and score against you. They have a balanced attack. They have solid play. They're intelligent, very physical, and very intense. Coach Morin's done an excellent job at Indiana. I've had at my prior stop at Missouri State, we were able to play Indiana. So I've understood what this team's all about. She's done a great job. They're going to be a difficult opponent for our team, but it's a great opportunity. I mean, a great opportunity to go up there and play against this type of basketball team. So that's the way we're approaching it, getting our players as prepared as possible. And then in terms of Jackson State, I haven't turned my attention to them as of yet, but I know they're going to come in here competitive and ready to win. I know that. I think that's the game that coaches look at every year, the game right before Christmas. You want to make sure they don't go on Christmas break before that game. They go on Christmas break after that game. So once we get through our Indiana game and have some opportunities to practice back here, we'll discuss that and make sure we get our players focused for that last game.
Howard?
Just wondering, specific to Indiana, Kelly, the fact that it's not just a backcourt that excels when it comes to Grace and Allie, but they do it with size as well. Just the particulars of that challenge and how you tend to address that at the defensive end.
Well, I think in terms of our defense, it's hard to take one person out. It's hard to double team somebody because they're just so solid across the board. They have a lot of people that can do things with the basketball. They can really get to the paint. I think their guards play downhill. They make good decisions going downhill. They can score off the jumper. I think that's one of their strengths. But you can't sit in the paint because they can knock down some threes as well. You can't help off post players. They can shoot and they can score. Obviously, the leading scorer right now is a post player. So they've just got great balance. I think it's just a challenge for us because there's not a lot of gimmicks and there's not a lot of trickiness that you can do. You just literally have to line up and guard. You just have to guard. It's got to be important to you.
Maria?
Coach, I know there's a Tess Darby, of course, has a teammate up in Indiana, and Chloe Moore McNeil. Brianna Bass, of course, is the director of operations up there, former Lady Vol. This may be a premature question, but you have talked about wanting to beef up the schedule. Could Indiana perhaps become a series with Tennessee, Indiana, or does this just fill a spot right now? Well, it's something we'll talk about. I probably working on a home and home with them now due to this year, and then get them back down here next year. And we'll see after that. I mean, this year things are just so different this year. I think, you've got to get through this year and then process any years in the future.
One final question for Maria.
Coach, it's my standard question. What are you gonna do with the starting lineup Thursday? Any changes to it, or you don't know yet, or any kind of plan there? Yeah, we had talked about some things even before our Texas game, so we'll go into to practice today and kind of make that decision coming out of practice. For me, again, the starting lineup. Yeah, I know it's a big deal to a lot of people. It's not to me. I think more importantly for us, we got to get our team ready to play. And that's more than just 5 kids. I mean, that's got to be, we've got to be able to play our bench up at Indiana to give us an opportunity. The reason I keep asking you is people keep asking me. So I'm okay. I know it's a big deal to a lot of people. Yeah, I'll ask Kelly and then we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Right, Howard, I saw your hand go up. Howard, question, please.
I appreciate it. Kelly, just with Renaya's shooting from beyond the arc, obviously, she's historically been about a 35% three-point shooter. That number's way down in what's obviously a small sample size. But two parts to it. One is, how do you know what needs correcting? And then also, is there an added concern of her getting gun shy about it? Which obviously presents its own issues in terms of your spacing and things you like to do with the offensive end.
That's a great question. I think I personally don't have a concern about her going out and knocking down shots. I feel like the next game, whatever game we go out and play, I feel like she's going to make baskets. I just think that's how much confidence we have in her. Understand that she still may not shoot great the next game. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be the next game. I think our concern has to be that she can play through it. Is she, that's going to be the greater concern. I don't concern myself with what she's doing because it's going to be fine. I have great confidence there. But we've got to continue to help her feel good about taking those shots because our team needs her to.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great week.